These spiral Christmas tree things that you're seeing here are animals, and that spiral effect is so they can catch food as it drifts through. And if you get too close, they'll go ahead and suck right down into a tube, and all you see is this little tiny opening. Before each dive, they'll give us a dive briefing, and they'll draw a picture of what the reef area is going to look like and give us a heads up on what we should be looking for or where we should be going. This is also a map that they would have up showing the progress of the ship, where we were docking overnight or anchoring overnight, and where we would be diving from. This is a freckled hawkfish variation. I'm going to show you another freckled hawkfish in a few minutes that's completely different. They get up to 9 inches and Indo-Pacific region. Marbled hawkfish, up to 11 inches. They're solitary, Indo-Pacific region. This is a nudibranch. This is the largest order of sea slugs with well over 2,000 species. You see they have those little horns or antennae, and those can be retracted. This is the other freckled hawkfish I was talking about. You can see the dramatic changes in colors. This was my favorite dive because of all the strange things that we saw in this particular dive. There was 2 seamounts that came from basically a floor of 60, 70 feet on up to not too far from the surface. So this particular fish is a shark sucker. They get up to 3.5 feet long, and this one is a variation. They swim with or attached to sharks, turtles, mantas, and other large fish. Occasionally free swimming, which is the first time we've seen one of these. They may attempt to attach to divers. And if they attach, you have to push forward to release. So obviously I was the biggest thing out there, and he was looking to attach to me and see if he'd get a free ride. Humphead wrasse, up to 7.5 feet. I have a much better picture of one on a night dive later on. Banded sea snakes. They are highly venomous, 10 times the amount of potency as a cobra. They're found generally in warm water oceans. They get up to around 6 feet in length, and they are not generally dangerous to people unless they feel threatened. I think I made this one feel a little bit threatened at times, because I got a little bit too close. And I didn't realize how fast I could back up with my fins when things like this would happen. But you can see I got pretty close over here, and he's really looking at me hard. Otherwise, he pretty much ignored me and just kept on trying to find fish and other things to eat in the little crevices. They have back fangs, so it means their fangs are towards the rear of their mouth, and they tend to be a little bit small. So if you have a really, really thick wetsuit, if they really do bite you, you might not get bit. But they're very venomous and can hold their breath up to 6 hours. They are land snakes that have modified to adapt to the sea. They shed their skin every 2 to 6 weeks to rid it of parasites, because that's something that they have to deal with in the ocean, and it's a much more frequent shedding than land snakes would do. They do breed on land in the shoreline and lay their eggs over there. Axle spot hogfish. This is a juvenile. They get up to 3 inches. The adult looks completely different colors, and they're 8 inches in the Indo-Pacific region. Looks like you have 2 parrotfish. Right there in the middle is a yellow barred parrotfish, intermediate phase, and right above it that just went by was a yellowfin parrotfish. That gets up to 1 foot in length, a little over 1 foot. The intermediate yellow one right there gets to 9 inches, and colors completely change when it becomes an adult, and it gets up to a max of 1 foot. This was our shortest dive by far. We dropped down to 50 feet and the current was just absolutely ripping through here. Visibility was very poor, you could see. The only thing that was redeeming was we found a banded snake right from the very beginning. So I followed the snake and filmed him as much as I could. And we went up to the top where the snake hung out for a bit. And then we called the dive. But it was worth dropping in the water just to see the snake. You notice that these divers don't even realize that the snake is behind them. And you have a very limited field of view when you have your mask on and you're in your water. So there could be something right behind you to your side. You'll never notice it. At this point, when we're on the top, the current's just, like I said, really ripping through here. You really couldn't swim through it. And we're basically just holding on to a piece of rock, just trying to keep ourselves steady.